Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of watching any of my videos, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Please keep on watching till the end. I promise you that you'll find something very beneficial before you finish watching this video. So please stick till the end and kindly share with a friend because you never know, they might learn one or two things from this video. I've shared a similar video about the things that I learned when I came into Canada. So please watch out for that video. I'll be tagging it somewhere. This is dedicated to people in Ontario. By now, you should have known that I live in Ontario, Canada, but anybody would find this video useful. Please tag your friends in Ontario. The first thing I'm going to be mentioning is that there is food in Canada. There is more food in Ontario. I can't speak for all the provinces. From what I have heard, in other provinces, food is quite expensive because most times Ontario is like the hub. Before it gets to those places, when you factor in cost of transportation, logistics, and all things like that, it becomes a little bit more expensive. It's tad more expensive. But if you're coming to Ontario, I know most people, before you leave Lagos or before you leave Nigeria, they will tell you to pack food, pack a lot of food. Thankfully, I had someone that told me to bring as much clothes and other items that I wanted as much as food, and I did just that. And for my own personal from my own personal experience, I am so glad I did because I didn't bring all the food items because you readily find them here. What I dedicated to doing was the food items that I felt were going to be very expensive or even inaccessible were the ones I devoted my time in bringing. All the poundo yams, semovita, and all that, guys, you'll find them here. They get expired easily, so you don't want to bring a lot of that and you start regretting that why didn't I bring some other items with me. There are so many things you will need. People will tell you to drop your clothes, but trust me on this one, you might still need your Nigerian clothes, some of it. So don't give everything away. There's food in Ontario. This is my personal opinion. So feel free to add or deduct whatever you don't want. Secondly, this point matters to every single person that stays in Canada, not just Ontario. But for the sake of this video, let me address those that live in Ontario. It is very, very important for you to have a credit card. So people come into Canada and they say, oh, I don't want credit. I don't want to have this one to my name. Are you really serious? The moment you told yourself that you are leaving your home country to come to the West, not just Canada, you will need a credit card. You need a credit score. As in, you need credit history. I am sure that by the time you wanted to rent your first home, they would have asked you for all those things. How do you have a credit score? With a credit card or a credit line or whatever like that. And a credit card is one of the easiest ways for you to have a good credit standing. From what my mom would usually say, she would tell me that there's good debt and there's bad debt. It all depends on whatever you're using it for. Make sure that you pay it off on time and you don't get more than what you really need per time. So guys, please disabuse your mind from thinking that you don't need a credit card. You actually do need a credit card if you live in Canada or if you live anywhere in the West, UK, USA, etc. Let me speak for Canada. You need a credit card if you live in Canada, if you live in Ontario. The people you first meet are very, very beneficial to you and very instrumental to you. If you're coming down to Ontario, please ask questions. I am very proud that most people do this. I do even think there's anybody that will be traveling or that will be migrating very far and will not ask the required questions. Find out more about where you are coming to. Find out more about Ontario. I have seen a lot of immigrants that get very scared just because they are coming to Ontario. Some people don't have a choice. Probably that is where their school is. Some people also got nominated by the province. They got like provincial nomination and they don't have any choice than to come to Ontario. A lot of people get scared, like, how do I cope in Ontario? People live in Ontario. Dear new immigrants, if you're coming to Canada and you're coming into Ontario, don't let people scare you. Ontario is not as bad as people think it is. I know people will scare you into thinking all that. Yes, it is true. They are not lying. They're telling you the truth. Yes, cost of living is very high, but people get by. If you know what you're doing, people get by. I have seen some people who have sworn that they would never leave Ontario because they are thriving here. They might probably not thrive as much in those other provinces that some people would rather choose to live in. So it all depends on you. Don't let anybody scare you. You've not even come and you're already getting scared. Make your adequate plans. Plan, pray, do your research. But Ontario is not as bad as people think it is. To be honest with you guys, I have lived here for over 1 year. And I can imagine everything they are saying. They are not right and they are not wrong at the same time. It all depends on how much planning you make, depends on where you are settling into. You don't need to live in the city. I understand that, yes, because of jobs and all that, but trust me, just take it slowly. Take it one day at a time and you'll be fine. Don't think of renting a 5,000 apartment or something. Just start it gradually and you grow. You will definitely figure it out. Trust me on this one. You will definitely figure it out. The people you meet when you come into the country would help you. So plan to be around strategic people that can help you, people of like minds who will propel you into your goal. So, guys, you'll be fine. Just the way I am fine as well. This leads me to my next point. There's help if you want help in Canada. There's help, and I mean this paid and unpaid. Paid, yes, there's help. I've mentioned this before, and some people are like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? I know some people that will say that they will never leave Nigeria or they will never leave their home country because the moment they leave, where will I get this clean? Where would I get that? Where will I get a help? Blah blah blah. Guys, there's help. If you want someone to clean your house for you, I find that a lot in Ontario. And it is with dignity. People will charge you for it, of course, but people also pay. It all depends on your earning power at the end of the day. And it depends on how much rest you have. I know someone that does not make a lot, but she will be like, to me, please, I need peace of mind once in a while. I want to have somebody watch over my kids once in a while. Whilst I catch up, I have some me time. So it all depends on you. It depends on your goals at the end of the day. But there's help if you need help. If you want help for like maybe people to take care of your children, people to look after your children, people to clean for you. There's a lot of that over here in Canada. You'll find out about that in due time. So don't be scared. I know a lot of people will be scared because of maybe how much it costs, but it won't matter much to you when you're definitely earning a lot of money. And that's the prayer for everybody, right? So don't fret about it. There's help. If you also need help, like unpaid help, I can tell you for free that you also get that. At least rub my back, I rub your back. So when you come into the country, look for people in your community, help out when you can, help to babysit their children. The same way you are helping other people, people will also help you when it's your own turn. So there's help when you need help, paid and unpaid help in Ontario. If you are lonely, look for a community, look for a church, look for maybe a gathering that your religion permits or something like that. There are a lot of churches here in Canada. Look for a Redeemed Christian Church of God close to you. A lot of people can be very lonely, and I know this. One thing is because the landmass in Canada is so huge. Before you think of visiting one person, it's so far. So that is why people feel so lonely. But you just have to be intentional about it. Look for a community around you. Please don't stay in isolation. That's one thing that affects a lot of people. Even if you are not married, just look for people that can be around you that you can help. Look for friends. A lot of Nigerians, a lot of people from other countries and other communities are all migrating into Canada. So I can tell you that you will definitely find your own people. So don't just stay. Look for people around you. School. Try to make friends. Be intentional. Look for WhatsApp groups. There are a lot of WhatsApp groups right now. Let me speak for Nigeria because I am Nigerian. Wherever I go to, in fact, I am on like 4 different Nigerian WhatsApp groups. The first thing you should do when you're moving, even before you move, if possible, is to make yourself acquainted with all those groups. You'll find out about the culture, how people are, and things like that. I am in the group every Saturday. Some guys come together, they go play soccer. Ladies join them as well, they go play tennis. You just have to do whatever you have to do in this country. We all have each other, or we just have each other. So people actually make out time for this kind of things. Don't stay by yourself. Even if you can't have a community, like a physical community, join the online one. By the time you see people like bantering, people saying this and that, you would even forget that you're not in Nigeria. Trust me, I am in a lot of those groups and they've made me sane so many times. When I think about like, okay, I can meet this person, there's this gathering here, we're going to eat ambala in another place, we are going to one place or the other, you'll be fine. Trust me on this one. You just find your own people. Okay? One of my friends in Ontario says something. This is based on what I said before. A lot of people come into the country, they come into the province and they are scared. People get scared of Ontario too, not just because of the cost of living, but because of job seeking and all that. People even think that it's almost impossible for you to find a job in Ontario. Guys, that is not true. I know it can be very, very difficult before you land your dream job. But it's not entirely true. Like one of my friends would say to me, there's a job for everyone. It might take some time, but you will eventually get it. Some people come into this country, into this province, Ontario, and they get a job in 2 weeks. Some people even get jobs even before they leave Nigeria or they leave their home country. For some other people, unfortunately, they might need to wait for a while. They might need to wait for like 4 months, 3 months, it depends. Some people even wait for up to a year. Definitely, you don't pray that will be your situation. So, the same way some people are getting jobs in 2 months is the same way you should project yourself into thinking that you get a job almost immediately. Just start making plans, start applying even before you leave. Do everything you can do in your power and leave the rest to God. To be honest, there's just little you can do. Do what you can do, everything you can do. If you need to make like 500 applications, you have to make those applications. Learn how to do your CV properly, Canada way, Ontario way, and everything like that. Depending on the career choice you have, depending on the industry you're moving into, you just have to be intentional about these things. I am sure you all know this by now. I shouldn't even be stressing it, but don't be scared because I know a lot of people come into this place and they're already like discouraged from the get go. Don't allow other people's projections be yours. I know for some people that's the truth, but not everybody's situation is going to be the same. Everybody's case will not be the same. You just do your own thing, plan, and leave the rest to God. My friend would always say it to me, there's a job for everyone. I had a friend, an older friend, this time last month, she was crying about her job. She was frustrated. She was almost going into depression. As I speak with you today, she has 3 job offers in a university, in a bank, and with the government of Canada. She's spoiled for choice. She doesn't even know the one to choose. So you can imagine, is that not a good problem? That's a very good problem, right? So you can imagine, you can see, at the end of the day, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I know going through that wilderness stage is not easy. It is difficult. I know, guys, it can be difficult. You'll be like, what is all this? Who sent me? But guys, at the end of the day, most people eventually smile, and I pray that'll be your situation as well. Before I get to my last point, let me quickly reiterate this and stress this. There's a budget for everyone in Ontario. I am saying this specifically because I want to address those that are coming into Ontario, and for those that are even in Ontario, I am sure we all know this by now. There's a budget for everyone. I tried to shed some light on this earlier, but let me elaborate more. In Ontario, most people say that cost of living is very high. That is very, very true. They're not lying about it. But it all depends on so many factors. Number one, where are you staying? Are you staying close to the GTA? Are you staying close to Toronto? Of course, Toronto and its environs are one of the most expensive places in Ontario. If you want to stay around there, be ready to part with a lot of money. But some people will never even leave those places because their life is already built around there. They have everything they want. They have the job that pays the bills for those places. So it all depends. If you have the job that pays the bills, why not? You can choose to stay there. Let me give you an example. A typical home, or let me say like a 3-bed town home in like Toronto or like in the GTA, for rent, for lease, can be about $4,000 every month. If you decide not to stay around there and you choose to live like 1 hour, 2 hours away, you can be paying as much as like 2,200, 2,300 for a bigger space in the same Ontario. So it all depends on you. And to be honest, some things are even more expensive over there. I have a friend that lives around the GTA area, and she even tells me that food is also more expensive in those places. So you can be spending half, or let me even say like 3/4, or let me just say half of what a typical person is spending in all those regions. Some people choose to live far. They might get jobs in other areas. You might choose to stay in like Welland, Niagara region, Fort Erie. Those places are a lot more affordable than staying in the GTA. The GTA Toronto area, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington are a little bit pricey. Vaughan, Markham, because you're really staying close to the city area. So if you don't want to stay in those places, there are a lot of other options. I've mentioned this before on my channel. I've shared places that you can stay if you're a family person, if you have family and you just want to like stay around family friendly communities. There are a lot of them here. There's Hamilton, there's Kitchener, there's Cambridge, the Waterloo region, there's Whitby, a lot of places that are less or are more affordable than the Toronto region. So if you don't really have business staying around there, you can choose to look inwards, you can choose to stay further if that would pay you. Some people stay farther, but transportation is quite good. Even though you would definitely need a car, but one thing I know is that the train system works quite well. So if you live in like Kitchener, you live in Hamilton, you can definitely drop your car and take the train to work every single day. Most people do this and it's not totally bad. So you can consider that as well. Most people stay around other regions, not particularly in the Toronto area, and they take a train or the carpool every time to work. Some people don't even need to go to work every single day. So with that in mind, don't worry, you'll be totally fine in Ontario. Last but not the least, so if you're coming into Ontario as a permanent resident, with all this that I have said, there's a way out. Please, I am mentioning permanent residents because unfortunately at this time, these are the people that I have information for. I have been able to help a lot of permanent residents, especially those that have dependents. So if you're married, you have children, there's a way out, there's a way around it. You can thrive. There are things you can do once you come into the country that will help you to get a good foothold. I have mentioned this a lot. I mentioned this a lot on my Instagram. There's a way around it. I was also scared. I was very, very scared before I came into the country, before I came into the province. But luckily, I met people around me who were able to show me a good path. And that was exactly what I did. And I am so thankful for that because that really helped us. So, if you're coming into Ontario and you're a permanent resident, you can try schooling. When you school, you will get grants that will help you and your family before probably you get a job or any other thing that can help you like that. The government understands that you need this. It goes towards your rent, it can go towards your car and things like that. But you need to do something before you can access it. And you can easily do this from the comfort of your home. You can work and school at the same time. You can do it virtually. It's very, very flexible. If this would help you, if this speaks to you, you can reach out to me via Instagram. You can send a direct message, or you can even send an email to me as well at iamtomiadinuga@gmail.com. Don't worry, guys. I know you will be fine. I know that for sure. I know this for certain because I was also very scared. I had terrible cold feet before I came into the country, but I am so thankful for today. Every day is a blessing. I am sure that by the time you come and you're well settled, you'll say the same thing as well. In fact, you will love Ontario more than any other province. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you think this video was helpful to you, please don't keep this to yourself. Kindly share for one or two people who might need this bit of information. And I will see you in my subsequent videos. Bye.